Yeah. Hello, how are you? How many of you are here? 12? We used to have over 20 last year. This year, not many. What were you told about this class? What were you expected when you come here? Were you expecting anything?
Have to learn how to meditate.
Yes. Have you done any meditation before? You know what? Why we meditate? Balance? Actually, it's feeling good. It's a different way of feeling good. We normally feel good by doing something or having something, but this is the way. It's just a different way. It's the opposite way. We are feeling good by not doing anything, and it's a better way. Why? Because you don't have to rely on anything to make you feel good. See, normally we need something to make us feel good, right? We need to do something, be somewhere, see something, hear something, drink something, or eat something in order to make us feel good. But that kind of feeling good is temporary, and it also can cause you depression or stress when you cannot get what you want. Then you don't feel good, right? When you want to do something and you cannot do it, instead of feeling good, you feel bad. But this other way, this way of feeling good by meditating, you can always do it because you don't have to rely on anything. Just rely on yourself. What you need is your concentrating ability. If you know how to concentrate your mind, focus your mind on one particular object, not letting your mind think about other things, then your mind will feel good, because your mind will become at ease, peaceful. But it's not easy, because normally we are not used to concentrating or focusing. Our mind is generally scattering. It keeps thinking about everything. Even while we are sitting here, you could be thinking about something else already. So if you cannot focus or concentrate your mind will not become peaceful. This is why we have to develop this concentrating ability before we can meditate successfully. If you sit and meditate without preparing yourself beforehand, if you haven't yet developed any concentrating ability, when you sit, you will not find any result, because your mind will be thinking about this and that, be here and there, and your mind then will not come to rest. Your mind will not be still. See, the goal of meditation is to calm your mind, to stop your mind from thinking. If your mind stops thinking, you can experience a different kind of feeling good that is much better than all the other kinds of feeling good that you have experienced before. But in order to achieve this, you must first develop your ability to concentrate. This is something that requires a lot of effort, because you have to do it all the time. From the time you get up, as soon as you wake up, and then you start to be aware of your surroundings. You have to start concentrating. Don't let your mind wander, think about everything on here, there, and everywhere. You should control your mind to be concentrating or focusing on one object. There are several kinds of objects you can use as your object of concentration. You can use a word called a mantra. In Buddhism, we use the name of the Buddha. We just keep reciting the name of the Buddha, 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 mentally before we get up. As soon as we open our eyes, we start reciting Buddha, Buddha. And as we get up, walk, go to the bathroom, and do whatever we have to do, we keep continuing reciting the word Buddha, Buddha. This is a way of developing your concentrating ability to restrain your mind from thinking, to go here, there, and everywhere. Because the mind that is wandering, scattering, does not bring peace or happiness or good feelings. But a mind that is still, stable, concentrated, focused, brings you peace and good feeling. So that's what you need to do if you want to meditate and achieve the result. You first must develop your concentrating ability by using an object to anchor your mind. Focus your mind at that object. You can use other things, such as your body. If you don't like to recite a word, you can use your body, your bodily movement. Every movement of your body, you should watch it from the time you open your eyes, getting up from your bed, standing up, walking to your toilet, to wash, to bathe, to clean, to brush your teeth, to comb to get dressed, to have food, to drink. Whatever you do, always focus your mind at your bodily movement. This is a way of controlling your thoughts, not allowing your thought to think about this and that. Unless you have something important to think about, then you can do it by concentrating on your thought instead. Like if you have to make planning for the day. Today, what's today? Today is Wednesday. What I have to do today, who I have to meet, what I have to do. You can think that way. While you're thinking, you should not do other things. You should just stand or sit and use your thought as your point of focus. Just try to do one thing at a time. In this modern age, we are taught to do many things at one time because we think this is good. We can achieve a lot of things by doing multitasking, but it's not good for the mind because it can bring a lot of restlessness, agitation, and bad feelings. So if you want to have good feeling mentally, you have to reverse the process. Instead of multitasking, you should do one thing at a time. Your mind and your body should be together at all times. Keep your mind with your body. Normally, we tend to do two things at the same time. The body might be eating, the mind might be thinking about something else. This way, the mind isn't stable because the mind has to flip back and forth between what you do and what you think. and then you cannot control your mind when your mind wants to think in such a way that makes you feel bad or make you feel sad, because you're not used to focusing, stopping your mind from thinking. See, our good feeling or bad feelings usually arises from our own thinking. When we think about something that we like, we enjoy, we feel good. When we think about something we don't like, we don't enjoy, we feel bad. So if you can control your thinking, your thought, you can control your feeling. Your mind is best when it's not thinking about anything. When it's still, it gives you the best kind of feeling of peace, easiness, and lightheartedness and contentment. So this is what we try to do. Try to bring the mind to peace, to stop from thinking. See, the mind has two main functions. It can do two things. It can think, and it can also know at the same time. You can know without having to think. Like you can see thing and just know that you're seeing that particular thing, without having to think about that particular thing that you are seeing. But normally we don't. We keep thinking about everything that we see or we hear. When we see something, we think, and then when we think, we also have feeling about the thing that we see or hear. See, and if the thing that we see or hear give us bad feeling, then we'll try to get rid of that thing. See, but sometimes you cannot get rid of the things that gives you bad feeling. That's the wrong way of getting rid of your bad feelings. The right way of getting rid of your bad feeling is not to get rid of the things that you don't like, but to stop thinking about the things you don't like. See? When you can stop thinking, then that thing doesn't mean anything to you. It cannot affect you. It cannot give you bad feelings. Because bad feeling doesn't arise from the thing that you see, but the thought that you have about that thing that you see. See, two persons can look at the same thing and have different feelings. One person can look at that thing and feel good. Another person look at that thing and can feel bad. So it's the same object, but the feeling is generated by two different persons. One person look at it positively and he or she can feel good. Another person look at it negatively, he or she will feel bad. So it's your thought about those things that you see or hear that makes you feel good or feel bad. If you cannot train your mind to look at things and think positively, then at least what you can do is to stop it from thinking about that thing that you see. Just seeing without thinking about it, without giving it any value, good or bad. If you give it value, then it will give you good or bad feeling. If you say it is good, then you have good feeling. If you say it's bad, then you have bad feeling. So meditation is we have two steps actually. The first step is to stop our mind from thinking, controlling our thoughts. Then once we have achieved that, the second step is to teach our mind to think positively. See, once we can think positively, then everything we see or hear will give us good feeling. But before you can teach your mind to think positively, you must first stop your mind from thinking. You have to be able to control your thoughts. Your thoughts is like a car. If you're driving and you want to make a U-turn, you first have to stop your car before you can make a U-turn. If you're going in the wrong direction and you want to go in the right direction, first you must stop your car, then turn it around or control it, directing it to the direction you want it to go. Our thought, most of the time, we think in the wrong way. We think in a way that create bad feelings. So we first must stop these thoughts by focusing our mind on one particular object, like a mantra, such as the name of Buddha, or your body, focusing, concentrating, watching your body, every movement of your body, without letting your mind thinking about other things. Once you can control this, when you sit in meditation, your mind will come to rest. It will become still, peaceful, at ease, and happy, contented. It doesn't need or want anything. Then you can teach your mind to think positively, to think correctly about the things that you come into contact with. All the things that come into contact with the mind has to come through the body, comes through the five sense passage or entrances. The entrances of things that the mind get to know things are our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. This is how the mind get to know the thing. It has the body to receive all the information. See, what we see through the eyes we call images, right? What we hear through the ears we call sound. Sight, sound, smell, taste, and tactile objects. These things, in themselves, they have no value. They are not good or bad. But the mind, we give them value, because if we like something, we give them a positive value. If we don't like, we give it a negative value. By giving them values, it then creates good and bad feelings. See? So what we want to do is to teach the mind not to give them any value, just to see them for what they are. They are just like that. The picture you see, they are just pictures. The sound you hear, they are just sound. They are not good or not bad. But we have been programmed, the mind been programmed to segregate, to discriminate, due to our habits. See, our mind doesn't arise with the body. Our mind came along long time before the body. The body is just a temporary possession of the mind. The mind used the body as a medium, an instrument to collect data like sight, sound, smell, taste, and then find good feelings and bad feelings through this sight, sound, smell, taste, and tactile objects. This is the way we live. We go between good and bad feelings because we see and hear different things. When we see things that we like, we have good feelings. When we see things that we don't like, we have bad feelings. But we can train the mind to become neutral, to stop giving value, just to see, just to observe, just to be aware. And when we can train the mind to do that, the mind will then remain calm and peaceful and at ease and contented and have good feelings all the time, regardless of what the mind sees or hears. So this is the ultimate goal of meditation, in Buddhist meditation, to train the mind to become neutral, to see things as they are, not as what we think they are. Right now, when we see things, we generate thoughts about the things that we see. We say it is good or it's bad, or it's neither good nor bad. What's good, we want to have it. We want to keep it with us. We want it to stay with us for a long time. What is bad, you want to get rid of it. You want it to go away right away. But things don't go according to your desire. You cannot tell things to disappear or stay. They come and go by causes. They have cause for them to come, they come. When the cause that caused them to come disappear, they disappear. So everything in this world is like that. They come and go. And you cannot always control them. You cannot always tell them to do what you want them to do. So the folly or the problem is not with things that we come into contact with. The problem is our own mind, not knowing the way to properly deal with the things that we come to see, come to hear, and not knowing the proper way of keeping our mind contented and have good feelings. So this is what we have to do. The way to make the mind have good feeling all the time is to teach the mind to become neutral, to stop giving values to things that we see or hear. And if we meditate a lot, the mind will get into that neutral position. The more we meditate, the stronger this neutral position will become. So eventually, when we see things, we will see them in a neutral way, neither good nor bad, no like or dislike. We can take them as they are. They can come or they can go. Doesn't matter, because the mind doesn't need anything. Once the mind becomes neutral, the mind is complete in itself. The mind has everything that it needs. What it needs is just peace, contentment. And you can only do this by meditating, stopping your mind from thinking, and controlling your thought, not to give things that you see or hear or touch any value. So basically what you have to do first is to develop this focusing or concentrating ability, something that you have to do all day long, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. And then when you have time to sit down and meditate, you need to find a quiet environment, like a place like this, in which there are no sound or sight or smell that will distract your attention, your focus. And when you sit down and focus your mind on one particular object, if you use your body while you do your activity as your object of concentration, when you sit, you have to use your breathing as your object of concentration. Because when you sit down, your body becomes still. It's not moving. So you switch your object of concentration to your breathing by focusing your attention at the tip of your nose, where the contact of the air that come in and go out of your nose. Just focus on that point and not allowing your mind to go think about other things. If you can persist in focusing on your breathing, your mind will eventually drop into calm. It will become still, peaceful, at ease, happy, feel good, contented. Then once you're in that state, then you want to leave it like that for as long as possible. Normally when you first do it, it won't remain in that state for long, because your concentrating ability is still not strong enough. It might stay for a few seconds, or maybe a minute or so. After that, it will withdraw. But once you have experienced this state of mind, you will become attracted. You will know that this is the real kind of happiness. Because it's the kind of happiness you don't have to rely on other things or other people or even your body. Even when your body becomes sick, you can still have this kind of good feeling. You can still meditate. For instance, if you get sick and you have to lay in bed, you can still meditate and still have good feeling. Because the mind and the body are two separate entities. See, the body gets sick doesn't mean that the mind has to get sick with the body. They are two different persons. But we normally tend to couple the mind with the body. When the body feels bad, gets sick, the mind feels bad along with the body. The reason why the mind feels bad because the mind cannot use the body to make it feel good. See. But if you can meditate and calm your mind and have good feeling, then you don't need the body. Then whatever happens to the body becomes irrelevant. The body can be strong or can be weak. It can get sick or it can die. It won't bother. It doesn't matter to the mind. The mind doesn't die with the body. So the mind is eternal. The body is temporary. That's why we keep changing the body all the time without knowing it. See, the body that we have now is just another body along with a lot of body that we have before. When we lose this body, we go find a new body. It's like changing your clothes. When this set of clothes, you can no longer use it or wear it, you throw it away, then you get a new set of clothes to put on your body. The mind is like that. The mind been changing bodies for a long time, for many years, countless of years, because the mind has no beginning and the mind has no end. This is something that you will only find out if you come into contact with the teaching of the Buddha. Because it's only the Buddha who has achieved this ability to discover his mind, to know the nature of his mind, and to know how to make his mind happy, feel good, without having to relying on a body. So once he has achieved this, he no longer have to get a new body. After his last body dissolved, he doesn't take up a new body anymore, because his mind can continue on being happy, feeling good, without having to have a body as the medium. Because having a body has side effects. It might bring you good feeling, but at the same time it also bring you bad feelings. Because the body will have to get old, it has to get sick, and it has to die. When it does this, it can make the mind very unhappy. But if you don't need the body to make you happy, to make you feel good, then whatever happens to the body will not affect your mind. The body can get old, get sick and die, and you can still feel happy, feel good. So this is what we we do here to train the mind, to let the mind be independent, not have to rely on the body and other things to make it happy. And we all can do it, whether we are a male or a female, whether you are a monk or not a monk, you can do it. What you need is to have the time to do it, that's all. The problem with lay people is that they don't have the time to meditate because they have to do other things instead. They have to work to make a living, and once they have enough money, then they want to have good feeling by spending money instead. So they never have time to meditate. So when you don't meditate, your mind become reliant on other things to make you happy. But the things that you rely on, they are not permanent or stable. They keep changing. They come and go. When they leave you, that's the time when you have problem, because you have to look for new things to replace it. And you have to keep replacing it all the time, because everything is temporary. So that's not the good way to have good feeling, because you cannot have good feeling all the time that way. When you lose something, then instead of having good feeling, you have bad feelings. When you have to look for new things to make you feel good, that is also make you feel bad, because it's stressful to acquire things, to get things. Like working, it's not, nobody likes to work, right? Because when you work, you don't really feel good. But you know you have to work because you want to get money, so that you can use money to make you feel good. See? But here, by meditating, you don't need to work. You don't have to have money. Once you know how to meditate, then you can always feel good all the time. That's why people become monks, because then they have all the time to meditate. Being a monk, as monk, we are well supported by lay people. They think that this is a noble way of seeking good feeling, and they are willing to support. People willing to give support to monks, because monk lives in a way that doesn't hurt other people, setting up good example for other people to follow. How we can live in peace together without having to cause any injury or harm on other people. See, with monks we can keep the precept. We maintain the precept, like abstaining from killing, from stealing, from sexual activities, from lying, from taking alcohol, drugs. People when they see monks behaving like this, they have like a role model for them, so they're happy to support monks. So monks don't have to go make a living. We don't have to work. All we have to do is to take our baking bowl in the morning, go into the village, and people will give food into the bowl. And once we have the food, we come back and we share the food among the monks. And we only eat once a day. Simplicity. See? Monk lives in a simple life. Just eat once a day. And all the food that we get, we put it in the bowl. Use the bowl as our dish to eat the food. So we don't have to use a lot of dishes, spoons and things like that. We can eat with our hand. No need to have spoon. And we only eat once a day. And the place we stay normally is in the forest, like this. We don't need electricity. We don't need running water. We can collect water from the rain and use it. This is the way the Buddha used to live during his time. Live simple, relying on as little as possible on other things. And then you can then have all the time to meditate and control your thoughts and teach your mind to think in positively. See, once you can stop your mind, you become peaceful and at ease and contented. The next step, then you can teach your mind to stop seeking or acquiring things, because everything that you acquire can become a burden to your mind. Because once you have something, you have to protect, you have to look after. And the things that you have will one day leave you, or you will leave them. Because everything is temporary, not permanent. Your body is temporary. You can make, for instance, millions of dollars. You become a millionaire. But one day your body will die. Then all your money will go to someone else. Your mind cannot take anything with you when you die. But if you don't have anything when you die, you don't lose anything. You don't feel bad when you go. And when you leave, you don't have to worry about your possession, your wealth, because you don't have to have them. If you can meditate, your mind will always be happy and contented. It doesn't need to have anything. You have to teach your mind to see that everything is temporary in order to protect your mind from being deluded. We generally don't want to think about temporariness. We keep thinking that everything will be permanent, everything will be long-lasting. See, but everything in truth is temporary. There is no such thing as living happily together forever. You get married and you live happily for 2 weeks or 6 months. Then after that you might want to separate already. Because this is the nature of things, the nature of the body, the nature of the mind. Everything is changing all the time. So you have to beware of this, of the nature of things, that they are temporary. They're constantly changing, and you cannot control them. If you know this nature of things, then you don't want to have them, because by having them will only cause you pain and suffering, sadness. But if you know how to meditate and keep your mind calm and contented, then you can stop your mind from seeking or acquiring things. You can live without having to have anything. So this is basically what we monks do, and what we teach people if they want to have good feelings without having to rely on anything. They can create good feeling by themselves by focusing their mind on one object and prevent it from thinking. Once you can do that, then you can always generate good feeling. And when the mind wants to have something, you have to tell the mind not to get it, because it is only temporary happiness. If you want to drink a beer, just tell your mind it's just only temporary happiness, and it will become an addiction. Once you become addicted, you have to keep drinking all the time. And when you want to drink and you cannot have it, then you will become sad. Then you have bad feeling. But if you don't drink then you don't have to drink. Then you don't have to go look after, get up. Then you won't have any bad feeling when you cannot get what you want. So this is basically what we do as monks. We develop our concentrating ability. We need to live alone because when we live alone, we have no distraction. If we live with people and have to do things, then these people and things will distract our mind from concentrating. So as monks, we are encouraged to live alone in the forest. Only go out to the village once a day to collect food. After we finish with our meal, we go into our dwellings, our kuti, our house in the forest, and stay there, sit and walk, and just do whatever routine that we have to do. We have routine like we have to sweep the leaves off the path, clean the house. That's all we have to do. While at the same time we keep concentrating our mind on the activity that we are doing and preventing the mind from thinking about other things. Because if we cannot control our mind from thinking, when we start thinking about our friends and our family and all the activities that we used to do, our mind will become agitated. If we want to go back and do those activities, and when it cannot do what it wants, then it will have bad feelings. That's why some monks cannot remain monks for long, because they cannot control their thoughts. When they start thinking about their family, their friends, and all the fun that they used to have, they get this desire to go back, and they cannot. Then they will feel bad by staying alone in the forest. So they then will have to give up and go back and live as a lay person and go back and to do the activity that they used to do. Then they go back and meet their old bad feelings, because they cannot always get good feelings. You get sometimes you get good feelings and sometimes you get bad feelings. When you get bad feelings, sometimes you feel like you want to kill yourself because you cannot stand those bad feelings. Yeah. That's the problem. But if we can persist in controlling our thoughts and keeping our mind calm and contented, then we can remain as monks and keep generating good feeling all the time. It's a matter of a personal struggle. You have to fight against your own desire. Your desire to go back to your normal way of life, relying on other things to make you feel good. As monks, we are supposed to learn a new way of generating good feeling by not relying on other things, by relying on our ability to concentrate the mind on one object, relying on our ability to control our thoughts, relying on our ability to think positively. See, if we can do this, then we can live as a monk forever. So, do you have anything you'd like to ask? Yes. I've been a monk since 1975. How many years is that? 38. 1975. Much older than you are. Long before you were born. you were somewhere else. Yes.
As those people feel like a failure when they go back to the normal life after they've been a monk, and they keep the desire to go back.
It depends on how they think. Sometimes they say, well, they're not strong enough yet. But maybe someday they will come back again. Maybe when they have really bad feelings, and then they might come back again. See? We have people who become monks and disrobe, and then after a few years they come back again. And sometimes they stay for a few more years, then they go back again. So it depends on the ability to control their mind.
You can also women become monk.
The tradition of women ordination has been disconnected in our tradition anyway. See, Buddhism have several traditions now, and the tradition that we have, we used to have women as monks before, but once there are no longer women interested in becoming monks, that tradition automatically terminated and cannot be reconnected according to the Buddha's command. But for women to be monk, it can be quite difficult, because monks in the old days live in the wild, in the forest, and for women to live in the wild, in the forest alone can be dangerous for them, because women are object of sexual desire. They could be harmed by people, by men who wants to have sex with them. And if they live together, they have distraction and cannot achieve their goal easily. In order to achieve your goal easily, you need to live alone, to eliminate all the distraction from your concentrating ability to concentrate. So the Buddha wasn't very happy when women asked for ordination at first, but he reluctantly allowed them to be ordained. But he placed several conditions. One of these conditions is that, once there is no more female ordination, then this process becomes terminated, cannot be reconnected. It's the same way with the male ordination. If there are no longer monks, if there are no more people interested to become monks, then eventually this process will be terminated. He has to put condition like for women, when they ordain, they have to rely on the male monks as their teachers. They cannot live alone. They have to live in a monastery where there are male monks to supervise over them, because male can at least prevent other people from coming and attack women in the monastery. Yes.
What is the difference between the colors, the orange and the white?
See, since the women can no longer become monks, they become what we call nun, which is similar to monk, except that instead of observing all the rules of conduct, they only observe the major rules. See, as monks, and whether male or female, besides the major rules of conduct, we also have the minor rules of conduct. These minor rules is just to keep us behave well and live together in a harmonious manner. See, but as a white rober, they only keep the major rules, which is the 10 precepts. They don't have to keep the other minor rules, and they cannot They cannot establish. They cannot. They are more like according to the tradition anyway. They live in the monastery with the monks, but in a separate section, and rely on the monk as the teacher, which is similar to being ordained as a monk, except that is not in exactly the same way that the Buddha had prescribed. Okay.
Do you think it's possible to quiet your mind without living a monk's life?
Yes, if you can live alone and have the time to control your thoughts.
So it includes always to be alone.
Because if you have other people or other things to do, then your mind cannot become peaceful. So, besides living alone, you also have to give up all your entertainment, like television, music, everything, because these are all distractions. So, have nothing at all, just yourself alone. Can you move in closer so that people can please the rain? Can you move? Come in here. Come closer.เดี๋ยวนะพอดีวันนี้มีนักเรียนมาพิเศษหน่อยนั่งฟังไปก่อนนะLike you cannot sit meditate in a disco or in a bar, because the distraction is too strong. You need a quiet environment like this. Or if you have a room alone by yourself and nothing can distract your concentrating ability, then okay, you can meditate.
How can you think? Do you think it's compatible to live a normal life and also to have a quiet place? Is it possible?
Practically not possible. You can, if you live as a lay person and meditate, you can only do it as a pastime, maybe, like a hobby. You do it when you have some spare time. Instead of watching television, you sit and meditate instead. But it takes a lot of willpower, because you normally are more attracted to watching television than sitting in meditation. But if you have this feeling or this understanding that meditating is better for you than watching television or going to a party or going to a movie or going shopping, then you might be able to meditate more. So you have the same amount of time each day. You have 24 hours, right? It just depends on what you use those time with. You can use those time for entertainment, or you can use it for meditation. But you cannot have them both, or you can have them half and half. You can have half of your time for meditation, the other half for your meditation. But these two activities generally they go in the opposite direction. So you will be like seesawing back and forth. When you meditate, you want to stop your mind. When you entertain, you use your mind. Like speeding your car. When you entertain, you're speeding your car. When you meditate, you're applying the brake. You want to stop your mind. So it's going in the opposite direction. So you probably won't get anything either way, Okay.
Why do monks cut their hair?
I guess it's a way of one is simplicity. You don't have to worry about combing it. You don't have to worry about shampooing it, anything like that. Secondly, the Buddha want us to abandon our attachment to the body, to the beauty of the body. See, we use the body as our basis of our personality, which is not the real body, which is not our real personality. Because the body changes, and eventually it will get old, get sick, and get ugly anyway. So we better get used to it being ugly now, so we don't have to worry about it later on. Okay? Alright.
Yeah, in the village I saw that monks were talking to people, and what they are doing? Are they?
Why in the city?
Yes,
with the begging bowl. They go collect food. Is it in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, monk are allowed to go out to collect food once a day in the morning.
But it looks like that they were saying something to the people.
They give a blessing. After the people give them food, then they give a brief chant, a blessing. So, normally we don't have to give blessing. We just collect the food, and then we keep on walking until we finish with our route. Then we come back to the monastery. Yeah.
Can you make a comment on the applications of Buddha's teaching in everyday life? Because I have considered this whole idea about good things and bad things happening to a person's life every day. But these are also the things, the good things and the bad things together in the duration of the life. The very things that give meaning to life.
Mm-hmm.
If we try our best to through meditation as well to free ourselves from all of this, then it is a form of negating the good things and bad things, which together gives meaning to life.
That's right, because what you are attached to is elusive. See, you don't know that. It's everything that we do here in this world is an illusion. It's a dream, but we think they are real. The Buddha is an awakened person. He's awakened from his dream, awakened from his illusion. See, everything that we do here, what we are dreams, because one day everything that we are will disappear. So we are like dreams. We are living in a dream, and by immersed in this dream, we become sad and happy with it. See, when things go right, we are happy. When things go wrong, we become sad. But if we know it's just a dream, then we don't have to be happy or sad.
Even though it's been a meaningful dream.
Yeah, but it's temporary. See, it happened and then it disappears. No matter how good a dream is or how good a feeling it is, only temporary, and it will be replaced eventually by a bad feeling afterward. Because your mind feel bad because it cannot keep the good feelings. See? But if the mind just detach itself from everything, let go, just be an observer, just know that it's just a dream, then the mind doesn't have either good or bad feeling, but it has a peaceful feeling, which is another form of good feeling, better than the good and bad feeling that we get from the things that we see or hear. This is what we want, a different kind of good feeling. A good feeling without having to have all these things that we are having now. Because everything that we have now is only temporary. Our life is temporary. Every activity that we have, that we do here is all temporary. Everything will disappear. Look at the people in history. Those people who came and went, we are like them. We come and we will go like them. See? So life is an illusion. It's not real. But we don't have the wisdom to realize this. We need someone like a Buddha. The name of the Buddha means an awakened one. He's awakened from the dream. We are not awakened. We are still in the dream. We are immersed in this dream.
So not everybody gets a monk or will become a monk. In your opinion, how should we create our life? How should we?
Just to be what I call easygoing, take things as they come, good or bad. Just take them, accept them for what they are. Don't be attached to good or bad. Just to know that they're only temporary. Be ready to leave everything behind. Be ready to let everything leave you. Then you won't feel bad. See? The reason why we feel bad is because we want everything to be the way we want them to be. But we cannot manage them. We cannot control them. Because everything come and go. This is the fact that we don't want to accept. So we have to reprogram our mind to look at everything as a temporary thing. Everything comes and goes. So don't expect too much out of them. Just enjoy them while they are here. Once they're gone, then goodbye. But you cannot do this because it's like being addicted to drugs. Once you have it, you're going to have it all the time. Okay.
How many monks live here?
We have about 10 monks up here. The hut are separated, scattered in the forest. So to create this illusion of being alone, not seeing each other. We only come together when we have to sweep the path and have an afternoon drink. Monks are allowed to have an afternoon drink like tea, coffee, or refreshment. And we have one meal a day in the morning. And that's all we have. The rest of the time, if we are thirsty, we just drink water. If we're hungry, we just have to wait for the next day. But you won't be hungry if you meditate. Most of your hunger comes from your mind, not from your body. Your body has too much food already. Enough food to last you for another week. You can go without food for another week. Your body won't die, I can guarantee you. But it's your mind that keeps grasping for food. But when you meditate, this desire for food will disappear. When your mind becomes calm and peaceful, it is contented. It doesn't have any desire for any food or anything, for entertainment, for anything. It's complete in itself. It's fully satisfied. This is the only way to satisfy your mind, is to calm your mind by meditation. Other way can never satisfy your mind. You can have $10 million and you still won't be satisfied. You can have 10 husbands or wives and you still won't be satisfied. Look at all the Hollywood stars, movie stars. They keep changing wives and husbands because they're never satisfied. Because that's not the real way, true way of making yourself satisfied. The only way to be satisfied is to calm your mind, to stop your mind from thinking. Go on.
I have a two-part question. In Europe and the U.S., Christianity has different types of different branches in religion. Is that the way Buddhism works?
Yes, the same way. It's a matter of interpretation of the Buddha's teaching. So the branches out, usually on some of the rules governing the monastery, the monastic life. Some monks say, "Oh, we should not keep this rule." So they say they want to leave this rule. So they have to go set up a new tradition. We have two major traditions really. From the time after the Buddha's death, one group of monks go up to the north, going up to Tibet, China, and Japan. They call themselves the Mahayana. Maha means big or great. Yana means vehicle. They call themselves the big vehicle. While the other tradition, they come down south to Sri Lanka, to Burma, Thailand. They are called the smaller vehicle. The difference is that the Mahayana stressed on developing the Buddha quality, while the smaller vehicle stressed on the disciple quality, to achieve enlightenment as a disciple, not as a Buddha. There are two different ways of becoming enlightened. Becoming enlightened by becoming a Buddha means that you have no teacher. You have to rely on your own ability to see the truth, see that you are living in a dream. This is, if you can do this by yourself, you call yourself a Buddha. But once you have a Buddha and he teaches you the way to see things, then if you use his teaching and to develop this ability to see, then you become a noble disciple. So the northern vehicle, the big vehicle, they stress on to develop to become a Buddha by themselves. So they don't rely too much on the Buddha's teaching now. While the smaller vehicle, we rely on the Buddha's teaching as our primary source of information. So we have to be very strict with every tenet, every word of his teaching. So we try to preserve them from the time that he was alive until now. But we have no conflict with each other. In Buddhism, we let things be. If you want to be that way, okay, no problem. You go your way, we go our way. The test of our way is the result that we achieve. You can become enlightened here and now, or you can wait for another 500 million years before you can become a Buddha. Because that's how long it takes to become a Buddha. But to become a noble disciple, you can do this within 7 years if you follow the teaching of the Buddha. And once you become enlightened, it's the same. Whether you're a Buddha or you're a noble disciple, you achieve the same result. It's like self-study or going to college. See, you go to college 4 years, you get your degree, right? If you study by yourself, it might take 10 years, 20 years, but you eventually get your degree also. But you teach yourself. So you want to try and meditate for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Okay. Do you know how to sit cross-legged? Or if you don't, just sit anywhere you want, comfortably. Keep your back straight. Yeah. And don't worry about your body once you start meditating. The reason why you should sit straight, because it will prevent you from falling asleep. If you slouch, then you can go to sleep very easily. And when you sit, try to concentrate on your breathing and try to prevent your mind from thinking about other things. Just watch your breathing in and out at the tip of your nose. Close your eyes and just keep concentrating on that point, and you will experience some calm, maybe not much. And after 10 minutes, we'll let someone give us the signal. Okay, I think the 10 minutes is up. This is just a sample. So if you think you enjoy it, then you should try to do it more when you're alone in your room. When you've got nothing else to do, try to meditate instead. You'll find another way of having a good feeling without having to have anything or anybody to make you feel good. Is there anything else you would like to know? I have this book. It's my talk I give to people, and it's been transcribed and printed. I'll give you each a copy. Please pass it on. Does everyone has a copy now? The teacher wants to have one? Okay. If we have nothing else, then I think this will be the end of our meeting. Okay? Before we go, I'd like to show you how to pay respect to the Buddha. It's a tradition when we come and go, we give respect to our teacher, the Buddha. Face this way. We'll do it 3 times. Come on like this. Come up and do it 2 more times. The reason why we do it 3 times is to pay respect to the Buddha, to his teaching, and to his noble disciple, who act as the teacher after the Buddha passed away. It's the noble disciples who continue on with the teaching of his teaching. Okay. Hope you enjoy your time here, and hope you learn something. Bye. If you want to follow, I have a Facebook page. Just type my name in this. Yeah, you might get into that. But it's mostly in Thai. But this talk that we have today will be posted also. So you want to listen to this talk again, you can go into my Facebook page. It's Phra Suchart Apichato, Ajarn Suchart Apichato. I think it's Phra Suchart Apichato. Okay. Good luck to you.
I think before we go, I would just like to say, on behalf of the students and on behalf of Asian University, thank you, Phra Suchart, for your time and your effort guiding us in the teaching of the Buddha. And this is a little bit of
Okay.
appreciation.
Just put it down there.
Okay.
Thank you.